Hello today. Welcome to the Lowdown Truth. Blessings in Jesus Christ. Hope this finds you well. I wanted to talk today about the 2020 election and my opinions about what's going to happen and what's going on behind the scenes. So the election November 3rd still is not concluded, although the left thinks that it is because the media called Joe Biden to be the president. But the media doesn't call the elections, so they're acting, against the law, pretty much against the laws of our country, trying to sway the public opinion to basically will their candidate in after what appears to be obvious voter fraud that's being put out in the open in the public because of Trump and his team not conceding the election. So what is going on here? Are they choosing for us, Biden and Harris, to streamline the global elites' New World Order? Or are they just pushing us even further to the left and then to eventually have Trump win and then creating a civil war type of atmosphere when the left is angry and rioting, by the lead of their paid agitators from wealthy financiers that are connected to China and this type of perception that they're showing us. It's interesting, bit of Jesuit theater going on here. I just thought I felt the need to give this perspective because I'm hearing different reactions from the people I listen to, and most people think that it's Biden is going to win because that's what the perception they're showing is and portraying, that even the Secretary of Defense Barr comes out and says that there's no evidence of voter fraud. Everybody seems to be against Trump. Everything seems to be closing down. Georgia recounted and still says Biden's the winner. All these things are happening, but in Pennsylvania, there's the Supreme Court. In Pennsylvania, a judge did stay the certification, so they asked the counties not to certify the votes yet. So Pennsylvania is not certified, and I believe Pennsylvania is going to be the battleground for the Supreme Court case that's coming. And it's just an interesting piece of the puzzle that I think is part of the Jesuit theater here. Now, in my opinion, Trump is going to win the election through the Supreme Court decision that's coming. December 13th, I believe, is when the electors will choose their president. So it's December 4th, so that's 9 days away. So it's coming right now. And what the left is doing right now, like Gavin Newsom, and they're pushing the lockdowns, they're pushing the tyranny is right now, and they're also showing them their hypocrisy, like with Gavin Newsom going out to eat, not wearing a mask, being caught supposedly by some bystander, but it was leaked to the press, and then the press reports it. Anything that is reported is okayed by the network editors and handlers, which are generally Jesuit or secret society people loyal to the Vatican, to the Jesuits, to the New World Order, the Antichrist, the papacy. So we can't believe things for how they're shown to us in the media, because everything is twisted. And one thing about the powers to be, i.e. the Jesuits, the masters of deception, that are the handlers of the politicians and the corporate elite, they never fight you with a frontal attack. They never fight you directly. They could, I guess, but only if it benefits them. And usually it doesn't, because fighting directly is harder to win. I mean, it's much easier to cheat, lie, and steal and deceive, because then you get people to think that you're their friend, and then it's easier to destroy them from the inside, from their confidence. That's the Jesuit tactic. So the idea that Biden and Harris are going to win, and everybody, all the conservatives are downhearted about that. They see it as a very, bad defeat, and a victory for, the communists and the global New World Order, and this whole global elite that Trump seems to be an antagonist against. Well, is that the truth? The idea that Biden is going to win and that he's going to roll out the New World Order in America, and or he's going to die, and then Harris is going to come in, and I'm not afraid of that, because they're going to have to go against most of the country that is conservative. And just like the conservatives were entrenched against Obama, they're going to be entrenched, unified against Biden and Harris. And that's not what they want. They don't want that type of enemy. They don't want that type of force to deal with. They would, in my opinion, it'd be much easier to have somebody that, is the friend of the conservatives, so they can deceive them, because the conservatives are the ones that run the businesses. They're the ones that work hard. They're the ones that go to war. They're the ones in the military. The liberals are just the ones in academia, the ones that are, they're a weak element of our country. The strongest element and the majority element is conservative type people, at least financially and in a lot of ways morally. I believe that it's more of a minority. It's not a 50-50 split. It's more like an 80-20. And they just show the 20%. They magnify it to make it look like it's bigger. And they pay for its agitators, and they control it, manipulate it, while the right is more organic. It's real people, that know freedom and understand common sense. They're not brainwashed into the global, the globalization type mentality that academia is propagating. Basically it's more of the younger people that are on board with being a global citizen and the global warming and all these lies and false teachings that academia, macroevolution, all this stuff that they say is facts. If you can get them to believe that macroevolution is a fact, then you can also get them to believe that, that there's a virus that's never been proven. And you can also get them to wear a mask, although the mask doesn't help. It actually, the science says that it hurts you. It actually makes it more unhealthy. So it's getting more and more twisted. Right now we're in a place where, everybody thinks that Trump is pretty much done with, even though he's putting up a good fight. People probably, most people think that he's going to lose, and then we're going to have a lot of people that question the elections from that point on. Even though they should have been questioning them already. The idea that we have fair elections anytime in the last 40 years is very naive of people to think that these voting machines haven't been stealing elections. And, ever since John F. Kennedy was killed in Dallas in 1963, I mean, the idea that we organically put somebody in the presidency that is not beholden to the central bankers and the secret societies, that is all very naive to think that way. But people are looking at Trump like he's one of these outsiders. He's not an insider. Yeah, he's a billionaire. Yeah, he's made all his money from the central banks. Yeah, he's from New York. Yeah, he went to Fordham Jesuit University, but he's an outsider. He's a regular guy. Because that's how he talks. And everybody thinks he has some great conversion to be a born-again Christian, which, there's no fruit to that. There's no fruit of his faith. There's a honoring the church of the Catholic Church, and there's a form of godliness, but there's no power therein. That's because he's a Catholic. He's a universalist. He doesn't believe in the Bible. He believes in the power in this earth, and the power of the air, the prince of the power of the air, in the Catholic, the Roman Catholic Church, which, is ruling the world through the Vatican and the Antichrist papacy. So the Jesuit theater going on, I believe, is to essentially cause a civil war. It's not going to be like the Civil War of the 1800s, which the Jesuits created, by the way, but it's going to be more of a Cold War. It's going to be a lot of cowardly left agitators and organic, useful idiots going out rioting, maybe even killing Trump supporters, just causing mayhem. And that's all part of their play, because they're going to come in and they're going to put that lawlessness down with probably some kind of quasi-martial law with the right-wing backlash. See, I got an interesting article or event happened November 25th, around that time. I'm looking here at an article on Market Watch. It says, Trump asks Pennsylvania lawmakers to turn around election results during the GOP event in Gettysburg. Now, that's not a coincidence. Gettysburg was the location of the biggest battle in terms of casualties in the Civil War in 1963. The Battle of Gettysburg was the pivotal battle to turn the tide of the war to the Union. Lee lost that battle, and he had to go back to the South. And from there, it was only a matter of time before they were going to have to surrender, and they did. A year later, but Gettysburg is where, in Pennsylvania, Gettysburg, this is where this article is talking about. Now, interesting, here it is that it's talking about an election, turn around the election, in Gettysburg. What would that do? That would cause civil war. That would cause a Cold War, a civil war in America again. You see, at least that's what their plan is. That's the template. That's their script, in my opinion. So here we have, Trump asking the Pennsylvania legislatures, Republicans, to turn around the election. Okay, so the battleground of this election in the Supreme Court is going to take the case of the Pennsylvania lawsuits the Trump team is presenting. And also what I heard is on the lower court, they're not presenting the evidence to the lower courts, and almost as if they want them to throw it out so they can appeal to the Supreme Court, because this decision at the Supreme Court level will set the precedent for all the country, and in that it will give it enough power to overturn the election, because they're going to rule in Trump's favor, and then all the swing states will do new ballots. They'll verify the signatures, and they'll come up with Trump as the victor. And when that happens, all the left are going to flip out and start rioting right on cue, and the media is going to show it all, and obviously the media is going to be going hog wild, saying that Trump is creating the coup, while the other side, the controlled opposition side, said that this is a coup against Trump, in that, the Chinese communist element in America, tied in with the left, tied in with the media, are basically trying to take us over from the inside. This is the perception, which is greatly terrifying the majority of people in America, the conservatives, people that love this country. People understand that all those people died for this country and our freedom, and we don't want to be taken over from the inside. So this is getting us ready to fight. Now, the Civil War it's not going to be a civil war like I said, but it's going to be a Cold War. It's going to be in the minds. But we're going to attach our angst and our worry at the left toward the communist elements in the world, i.e. China. It's as though, Trump has been talking about the China virus, as though China's the one that created the virus to send it to us, to ruin us, and then take us over. You see, this is the idea. This is a act of war, you see. And Trump is, I believe, this is the whole point. You see, Trump's going to win. He's going to validate himself with the majority of conservatives in this country, and even the moderate Democrats are going to see that, Trump is a genuine character, and this going against all the powers to be, all the big, wicked powers that Trump talks about, draining the swamp, all the powers, the globalists, they're trying to bring us into communism and the global warming and all this stuff. He's against that. That's what they're showing him as. And so when he wins, people are going to think that he's a genuine, sincere character more than ever, to the point where they're going to be so loyal to him that they're going to be willing to go to war, especially since he's going to, he's going to show us how China and Russia and Iran have created this coup from the left, and then he's going to connect those two and then we're going to go to war on those grounds that we're trying to save our country. You know, it's a bigger plan than just taking us over with masks and lockdowns and vaccines. Because, in my opinion, they can't roll out their agenda yet. There's just too many people with guns, and there's too many older people that understand freedom. They're not going to allow Biden and Harris to just roll out the Agenda 21. You know, they're not going to. There's just too much friction, too much resistance in the military and in the police. We're not going to do it. But they can use this to sway the majority of our country into following Trump as a loyal, very loyal group of people, and seeing that he's fighting for us in this election, getting the right results, and anyway, it's kind of like Hitler, even though Trump's not Hitler, but it's a different time and all, but it's much like that in a way, that Hitler was speaking to the Germans that loved their country, that didn't like what was happening to them with all the punishment from World War I, and with all the communists taking over and the socialists, in which were all, this was all created just like the scenario we have now. They create the problem and then come up with the solution that gives them their end result, which gives them the control. So in my mind, World War III is going to be much more profitable, and for them to get what they want, which is Agenda 21, which is the New World Order, which is Americans not having weapons, being controlled by technology, with the COVID pass and all this stuff that they're showing us right now. So, if Biden and Harris, somehow won, I think that would be a good thing for the conservatives, because then we're not going to be deceived into going to war, because nobody's going to follow Biden or Harris to war. They won't do it, and that's not, it's not going to work for them, especially if we have the Senate and the House. So, the Republicans, that is, have the Senate and the House. Anyway, the election itself and the fraud that they're showing, it's interesting that the fraud, is so obvious. This is, you see, nothing would come on the media unless they wanted it to. Nothing would be that obvious unless they wanted it to be that obvious. Every year they choose who they want. It doesn't matter who you vote for in the presidential election. The Antichrist chooses the president. And so this is just all, created. Yes, there's people that did it organically because they're Democrats and they wanted, but it was a concerted effort to steal the election and make it obvious. So that's one thing, this idea that elections before were okay, but now they're not. That's very naive to think like that. Right now, since Biden, bumbling Biden has been elected or selected, they say, by the press, he's been doing things that are, trying to scare us, like talking about taking away guns and and the lockdown measures, and everybody's going to be masked up. And he's basically saying everything and doing everything he can to frighten us. This is part of pushing us as far to the left as possible, so when Trump wins, there's going to be that much more of an elation by the conservatives and a gratefulness towards Trump, a loyalty, a validation, while on the other hand, the left is going to be that much more incensed, that much more angry. It's just getting it ready to turn that switch, to create that friction. So, I believe that COVID-19 and mandatory vaccines and all these things that we're seeing come down the line, I think that Trump is going to continue with vaccines and continue with technology that is going to control us, but I don't believe he's going to be doing the lockdowns or the mask anymore. He's going to liberate us from that type of Democrat, because they're going to put that on the Democrats, you see. Like, it wasn't Trump that locked us down, it was Fauci. It was the Democrats that put it too far. Trump was just trying to be safe, trying to be reasonable. But the truth is, he's the one that shut us down. He's the one that, he wore a mask. He didn't have to do that, but he did. If I can figure out that this is not, if it's just a common cold, I think he could too, right? But Trump supporters want to give him every benefit of the doubt, even though he's the one that locked us down. He's the one that put a mask on us. He's the one that's getting the military to go give us the vaccine. I don't think that the mandatory vaccines and the taking away the people that won't take the vaccines, taking away their ability to function in our system, I don't think that's going to happen, yet. It's going to happen, but not for a while, because they just don't have, they don't have the ability, the support to do that. Not yet, but they will later. So, he is going to vaccinate everyone, and there could be restrictions like traveling, but I don't think it's going to get to the point where you can't even function, until the war happens. Basically, the idea is they're not taking us over with the mandatory vaccine and lockdown. They're taking us over through war, and then, the measures of the New World Order, down the road. I don't know how far down the road, but down the road, later on, couple years, whatever, 4 years. The right-wing backlash is really what it's all about. You see, the right wing is so entrenched and embattled by this insane left communist element that they are showing us, and showing that it's going to be the dominant power. When that gets turned around, the right-wing backlash is going to be harsh, and it's going to be in the tune of martial law, and taking over the media, because I believe that all the media, the left-leaning media, is going to get taken to task for lying about the election, and they're going to get purged, and they're going to start talking a new tune, because they need the media to sell the war that's coming. They need all of the media. They can't have all these left, 80% of the media is totally like left leaning. They can't have that, because they have to have all the media in line to go to war. And that's going to happen when Trump takes the media to task for actually, lying to the people and He's also going to take to task all these governors that have been unconstitutionally destroying our states, like the governor here in Oregon, Kate Brown, and Whitmer in Michigan, and Gavin Newsom and Cuomo, and DeWine in Ohio. All the worst ones that they've been showing us. These are the villains, the ones we love to hate, the hypocrites, and they even, showing that they are hypocrites, like, just to make us, more angry, more incensed. So we will go along with the just taking them to task later on when Trump is reelected. Even if Trump has to go around the Constitution in order to punish governors, and even if he has to go outside of the Constitution to do martial law, whatever it is, we will agree with it, because it's been such a horrible, time that the left is putting us through, that we're not going to be sensible and balanced toward the Constitution. It's gonna, we're fighting for our lives, for our country, for our freedom. Although, truly, we're just being manipulated, and that's the truth. So, this is my thoughts. I wanted to share with everyone. It's just a different take on what's going on. It's the same thing I was saying before with the Trump coronavirus methodology. It's the same concept, but this article about the Gettysburg, and Pennsylvania, and seeing this play out, it's really, I'm being validated with everything, all the news that I see. It's been playing out. They want it to seem like there's no chance that Trump it's a lost cause. Even Barr is against him. Blah blah blah. But that's all part of the Jesuit theater. They did it. They did it when he was running against Hillary. They really did it against Biden. They're doing it now. The underdog. It does so much to validate him. It does so much to validate the elections, that it's really invaluable. This little Jesuit theater is an invaluable manipulation tactic to get the majority of Americans, the strongest part of America, on the side of their man, which is Fordham Trump, Jesuit-trained Trump. Just like Gavin Newsom, just like Fauci, just like Cuomo, he's Jesuit-trained. And that's what the Jesuits do. They're deceivers. They're liars. And they're of their father, the devil, who is the father of lies, and there's no truth in them. So, the idea of, me telling you this is so you will not be brainwashing into believing that Trump is a genuine character that is cares about this country and about you, and that he's a Christian. He believes in what he's doing, but he's a Catholic. He's a Protestant only nominally, only because it gives him more validity. But the truth is, he is beholden to the powers of Rome, and that's in the Bible. Rome is still in charge, and Trump represents the Sunday-keeping, apostate daughter harlot of the Protestants, which is nothing more than, a daughter of the mother harlot, the Catholic Church. I thought I'd share this with you. Get it out there. Just in a way, it's good, because obviously Biden and Harris are just a nightmare. But that's the whole point. It's like the perception that they give you, you never want to believe. You always want to see what is tactic here? What are they doing to twist it around and manipulate? So Trump is not what he seems, and his leadership, although seemingly going on the right track, is going to be worse than even Biden, because he will lead us into a greater destruction than the coronavirus ever could. And that's in my opinion. Because if they keep going with this coronavirus and the lockdowns and the mask and the vaccines, the people will revolt. They're already starting to not listen. There was a bar owner in New York, just kept open. There was a gym in Eugene, Oregon that just stayed open. People are just starting to defy these orders. And so eventually, we're not going to do it, because because this coronavirus, the majority of people realize that this is the common cold. That's all it is. It's a total hoax. It's a lie, and it's becoming more and more apparent, and that's on purpose as well, because they want people to see through it, because Trump is going to speak to them saying that yes, this is overdone, and it's been the Democrats and the media and the communists that have been magnifying it in order to destroy our country and our economy. And everybody's going to agree, including me. But we have to delineate between, the truth of this being a hoax and the truth of Trump being on our side. You see, he's telling us what we want to hear so we can follow him. And where is he leading us but to destruction and ruin? Just like, Biden and Harris. But Trump's going to be much more effective in doing it because he has the hearts and the minds of the people. And when you have the hearts and the minds of the people, like Hitler did, you will go to war. You will die because you believe that it's worth dying for. But nobody's going to die for Biden and Harris. Not even the left. Because they're generally cowards. They're not going to fight and die for, the only reason why they're going to fight and kill people is because they're afraid of losing their spots. They don't believe in anything that's worth anything. Except for, lies. So, pray for the left, pray for those brainwashed people, and pray for the right. Pray that they don't trust Donald Trump. Even though we want these restrictions gone, even though we want what he says to be done, we don't want to go to war against China. The Chinese people are not the problem. The Russian people are not the problem. The Iranian people are not our problem. It's the New World Order in charge of all the governments and the handlers that are the problem. And they want us to go to war and kill each other while they sit up there and drink tea and laugh. And they, the Chinese and the Donald Trump and the China dictator, and they're all together. And they're all going along to their marching orders to destroy God's anointed. It's all against those who believe in the Bible. That's what it's all against. And people that believe in the Bible have liberty in Jesus Christ. They're not beholden to any powers on the earth. Their power is in heaven, is God, is Jesus Christ, and not the Pope, not anything on this earth. But we also know that this is our country, and we're going to be loyal to our country. These are our people. These American people are where we are, and this is our country, and that's important. But truly, our people are those of the faith, or those of the true faith, of the Protestant faith, that believe in the Holy Bible. And, not the Catholic Church. And all the false religions that it created, like Mormonism and Jehovah's Witnesses and all the cults and stuff that they've created. So I just pray that this helps you understand and gives you an idea. If I'm wrong, we're going to find out soon, and I'll admit that, and fine. But I see that this is to me, it's very apparent, especially with this Gettysburg article. They wanted that to be prominent. So get ready for that, and especially get ready for the right-wing backlash, and then the drum, the beating of the war drum that's soon to come next year. But I pray this finds you well, and God blesses you and your family and protects you in Jesus Christ's name. Amen.